This is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you my Pioneer deck tech with Gruul Dragons. It's my first ever Pioneer Curious Edition, and as I'm sure will come as no surprise, I am playing Dragons for my very first Pioneer deck after a 5-year break. So yeah, I played Pioneer right when it first became a format, and basically ran a bunch of my old standard decks in it, and it was fun, but was more into Modern at the time, and also just taking a break from online Magic due to having children. So 5 years later, and as I say in my article on cyclesgaming.com, 15 free spells in Modern later, I'm kind of interested in Pioneer again. See if it plays similar to the way Modern did back in 2016. So let me talk a little bit about the deck, and then I'll get to the gameplay. So if you're familiar at all with my Gruul Dragons deck in Modern, you'll see a lot of similar cards. Our game plan is pretty simple. We want to play a mana dork on turn 1 to ramp into a 3-mana Planeswalker on turn 2. That will then allow us to play one of our finishers on turn 3. And we play a total of 11 dragons here, Stormbreath, Glorybringer, and Stingerback Terror, and then Questing Beast in the 4-drop spot alongside Stingerback Terror. Removal, Lightning Bolt becomes Play with Fire, trying out Invasion of Turkir to see how that works. It's not the most efficient removal spell, but it does have some flexibility with it being a siege to turn into a dragon that then becomes removal. If you're not familiar with the strategy here, I'll just talk a little bit about it. Kiora draws his cards with each one of our finishers, as well as untapping an Exerted Glorybringer that will often lead to our opponent scooping. Domri, meanwhile, pumps all of our creatures, which can be relevant with our mana dorks. If we end up having a bunch of mana dorks in a Domri and we're not hitting any dragons on the right board state, we can really pressure our opponent's life total that way. Makes things uncounterable, which is great. -2 gives us more removal as we get to have our creatures fight their creatures, and usually our dragons can defeat most of the popular creatures out there without dying themselves. And in case we do run into something bigger, we have a Questing Beast with Death Touch that we can fight and go ahead and punch up that way. Sideboard, I will be honest, having not played Pioneer in so long, I just looked at some lists online and came up with this. Chandra's Defeat, removal against some of the red decks out there. Rending Volley to hate on, and also Omnath. Rending Volley to hate on Omnath and anything else that's white or blue. Rampaging for Rassadon, I think is in there for the Amelia combo deck. Can come up in other places as well. Pick your poison. I imagine is mostly in here to fight against maybe Niphthalite with some of their enchantments, but also Rakdos Vampires and their big flyers, which, as we learn quickly, actually outclass our dragons, which are not used to being outclassed by flyers. Klothys, a little bit of graveyard hate and life gain, and then Unlicensed Hearse to hate against the graveyard decks out there as well. All right, so that's my very first Pioneer deck, Gruul Dragons. Hope you enjoy the gameplay. Let me know in the comments what you think, how you would change the deck. Maybe some cards that are obvious that I'm forgetting are actually legal in Pioneer that I should be including. And let me know how you enjoy it and if you want to see more Pioneer gameplay from me. All right, for CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. Catch y'all on the next one. This has been another edition of Pioneer Curious. Thanks for watching. This is Johnny Cycles. If you haven't already, check out my website, cyclesgaming.com, where you can read about my various commander decks, watch my modern brews in action, read the articles, and watch the gameplay from my Pioneer decks, and read my science fiction fantasy novel, The Podkind, that I'm publishing serially. If you like the content, please click that subscribe button on YouTube. Everybody counts. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next one.